So you can see that the 14 Pro over the 13 Pro does have a little bit of a different design on the front, which most of you probably know. The iPhone 13 Pro on the front had a 6.1-inch Super Retina Extra OLED panel, and as I said not too long ago, this was the biggest differences this year. In my opinion, in 2021 when Apple dropped this phone, I was very excited about switching over to it. We had a better camera, we had better everything than the previous iPhone, but better battery life too, and that ProMotion display, which was amazing. I was a massive fan of that, and even now it still holds up very, very well. On the iPhone 14 Pro, on the other hand, we obviously have a little bit of a different display. So we now have that dynamic island display, still, very good panel ProMotion as well. It's the same size as the 13 Pro, but we now get a little bit of a better panel because of the lack of that notch. Now, it is still it's not a notch, but it's like a pill design, which is kind of cool, but it's kind of not even that big of a deal. I mean, if you look at how close it is resemblance-wise to the notch itself, it's kind of the same thing. You're just getting a little bit of screen real estate on top. Other than that, even the dynamic island thing, it hasn't really came up that much. I mean, I don't even think I've experienced yet because none of the applications I've used so far that I've installed have utilized it yet. So I'm excited to try it out, but I don't think it's going to be like a life-changing thing that Apple kind of showcased. I think it's going to be very similar to the Touch Bar on the MacBooks. I think that's probably what it's going to end up being like. In terms of thickness and thickness, you can see pretty much the same thing. We also have the lack of a SIM card tray on our iPhone 14 Pro. So you can see the 13 Pro up top actually had that, SIM card tray. The 14 Pro now does not have it, which is very, very sad. On the back, we have camera setups on both as well, and it is a little bit bigger. On the Pro Max, it was harder to tell, how much bigger it was, but on these phones, you can actually tell how much bigger the camera module is over the standard 13 Pro. I don't know if you're able to tell at this angle, but it is actually a little bit more noticeable to the naked eye, so that is actually pretty crazy, and I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but it is whatever, we're going to get used to it. Now, you also have the always-on display on the iPhone 14 Pro, which I think is kind of cool. I've already turned mine off on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but I'll have to turn it off for the 14 Pro as well. There's an option to do it, which is really cool. So in terms of that kind of covers it up on the outside between both.